My name is Alec, and I've just decided to completely change my life. Bought a piece of land where I'm going to build a house for myself and my son. On this channel, I'll show you the entire process of building a wooden house, talk about the costs, and share the challenges I'll face along the way. I hope these videos will inspire someone else to follow an equally crazy dream. Building a wooden house is a long adventure. As soon as we finished drilling the foundation holes, a torrential rainstorm arrived and completely flooded the site. At first, I tried pumping the water out with an electric pump, but there wasn't really water in the holes. There was thick mud and sludge. The pump simply couldn't handle it. So there was only one option left: remove the water by hand. To start with, I improvised a primitive tool using a plastic bottle. It actually worked, but it had plenty of shortcomings. The biggest problem was that it wouldn't sink on its own, so every time I lowered it into a hole, I had to weigh it down with a rake. The rake happened to have the longest handle on the construction site, and since it was very lightweight, it was perfect for the job. Even then, the bottle could only remove about 2 liters of water at a time, which meant repeating the same process over and over again. 63 holes were completely full of water. To empty them all, I had to repeat this routine countless times. Some of the holes hadn't just filled with water, they had partially collapsed as well. If I had drilled them just one day later, I could have avoided several days of exhausting work. So I bought a bucket that holds more than 7 liters of water. That made the job much faster. Sometimes I didn't even need to weigh the bucket down with the rake, which sped things up even more. At the bottom of every hole was a layer of sludge that the bucket simply couldn't remove. The only solution was to drill again. The muddy clay sticks to the auger and sometimes jams against the sides of the hole. It's not an easy job, and there were still more than 60 holes waiting for me. Where the holes had been drilled in clay, the water simply stayed there, with no chance of draining away on its own. Where they had been drilled in sand, the sides had collapsed, so I had to drill them all over again. Either way, it felt like a never-ending Sisyphean task. Since cleaning up after the flood took several days, I couldn't stop thinking about another heavy rainstorm. So I decided to protect everything before the next rainfall. Looking back now, I have to admit the protection was rather improvised, maybe even more wishful thinking than real protection. But I had to do something. The thought of digging all those holes out again was enough to drive me crazy, so I came up with the best solution I could using the materials I already had on site. What would you have done in my situation? Let me know in the comments. I also had to take apart the formwork I'd built earlier and make new forms. It turned out that the auger mounted on the mini excavator couldn't drill holes as close together as the original design required. That meant the corner footings had to be made larger, and this is where the unexpected costs begin. The larger forms required more lumber, and the bigger footings will consume considerably more concrete. Oh well. At least the house will stand on a solid foundation, and as everyone knows, the foundation is the most important part of any house. During this project, I've discovered quite a few truths about life, and even about myself. One of the most important is that I'm surrounded by true friends. That's not something you discover at a great party. You find out when things go wrong. The people who've known me for years probably wouldn't bet their own money on my success as a home builder. And yet, every time I ask for help, someone shows up. Preferably on the weekend, when they actually have some free time. These days, Swawek is helping me out, the composer of the music you're listening to right now. Yes, really. You're not likely to meet many professional builders on this construction site. Instead, you'll find artists, lawyers, cinematographers, directors, musicians. Apparently, that's my construction crew. The string lines don't just mark the position of every footing, they also establish the reference level. Thanks to them, all the footings and foundation piers will end up at exactly the same height, making it much easier to install the wooden floor beams later on. While I was at it, I also made protective caps from construction plastic in case of more rain. From now on, rainstorms are officially my nemesis. I thought God was supposed to be on my side. Instead, he seems determined to test me at every turn. Oh well, I'll get through this one too. Leveling the footing forms is relatively straightforward. Keeping them watertight is the real challenge. So I came up with the idea of attaching plastic sheeting around the outside of each form with a staple gun. Covering the edges with soil to prevent the concrete from leaking underneath. Don't worry, there will be plenty more soil on this site before this project is over. that remained was to brace the forms securely. It's a simple method you'll see on almost any construction site. 2 wooden stakes driven into the ground provide more than enough support. It takes quite a bit of force to move them. Corner footings are larger than the rest because the corners of the building carry the greatest loads. In the center, there will be another footing for the chimney and the fireplace. The fireplace footing will also support a column that carries one of the main floor beams above. Since a significant load will be concentrated at that single point, it has to be distributed over a larger foundation. Cut the stakes from counter battens because the wood is easy to drive into the ground. Each batten is 4 meters long, and I get 6 stakes out of every one. Stake is about 65 centimeters long, with at least half its length driven into the ground. The forms aren't going anywhere. Well, at least not because of wet concrete. Russian missiles might be a different story. footing forms are finally ready. In the next episode, I'll continue building the remaining foundation forms. There are still 38 of them left. There's still a very long road ahead. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed to my channel, gave this video a thumbs up, or shared it with your friends. See you in the next episode.